Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck. It's the next day, November 14th, 13th, and I'm back to working on the fire truck again. But before I go over there and start doing anything, I need to go get some antifreeze for it. So I'm on my way over to Wally World, and I'm going to pick up some stuff for myself while I'm over there. So I'll be back with you again when I got something to show you and something to tell you. Okay, I got the antifreeze for the old truck. I'm picking up a few grocery items for myself. And, our little town's got a lot of retired people. And about this time of day, a lot of them like to come shopping. And they don't have a whole lot to do. So some of the time here, it's you kind of wander around aimlessly in Walmart. And kind of reminds you of the Night of the Living Dead. Okay, I need V8 juice. And my wife needs some apple juice. Looks like we're going to have to, usually we get her treetop, but they appear to be out of that. So we'll try some Mott's and see how that works. See how she likes that. All right, back with you again in a little bit. One of the things I'm doing, of course, while I got the old truck apart, is I'm putting new radiator hoses on it. Now, if you notice the modern vehicles, we got the preformed radiator hoses like that. And this is my old truck, so you can see how the difference in that, the way they're made now. Well, back in the day, they didn't have that. So let me show you what they had. And this is during World War II, and all their hoses were straight. Now there's the upper hose, just a little straight piece of hose, and then this is the kit for the bottom hose. So they had two little straight pieces of hose and a little tube to connect them, and then these were the type of clamps they used. So there's a little tube to connect the two straight pieces of hose, one end to the radiator, the other end to the water pump. Now there's the old one I took out of there, and if you notice, it's got a tube on it here. Well, that actually was for the engine block heater, and we're not going to have an engine block heater in it now, so we don't need to do that. And besides, this one here is, you know, real old. You can see it's all rusty. So we got a brand new one right here, and we're going to put that one on. But just get a little difference between the way things used to be and the way things they are now. Well, the first thing we're going to do today, I guess, is put that thermostat back in. So I cleaned that all up. And I think we're good for that. As you saw in that last video, that old thermostat was stuck. So when you put a thermostat in, one thing, any of you guys that work on old cars are going to laugh at me, but one thing, if you don't, one thing always remember is that this here has to be toward where the heat's at. And a lot of people put thermostats in upside down, and then they wonder why they don't work. Because what happens is the spring heats up, and when the spring heats up, it opens up this little passage in here, it lets water through it. So, simplicity itself. thermostat just goes in there. There's a gasket for it. Try to get that gasket lined up. And then here's that pretty thermostat housing that I got all cleaned up, and I took it home and I painted it. So that's just going to set right down on top of that. And also brought brand new bolts. Those old bolts were quite a mess. I'm going to have to get up in here somehow to where I can hold myself on here. See if I can get that side started. Got a little fuel line issue right here in the way. There we go. See if I can get that one started. Those old bolts were pretty bad off, so I went ahead and got new bolts for it. I had some in my stash at home. Yep, thought that started, but it didn't. There it goes. There we go. That's pretty simple. Next thing, I'm going to test fit that radiator hose. So I painted that thermostat housing up nice and pretty. And did the same thing with the fan. I cleaned that all up and painted it. That's going to be the next thing that's going to be put on, but I think I'm going to test fit this. But I don't know how hard it's going to be to get this hose up in here. It looks like it's the right size. Yeah, I just have to wrestle with it to get it in place when the time comes. I think I'm going to probably put the bottom one in there first, and I'm going to put the fan on there first, because that fan's a real booger to get to. There's not a lot of room down there. So let's see if we can finesse that into place. Okay, go ahead and shut it down for now. Next thing I'm going to do is try to go ahead and put this fan in place. And I remember from taking it off, it's a real booger. There's not a lot of room down there. I don't know how well you can see. Kind of hard to see everything's painted black. We got to get the thing down in front of this, in front of the water pump pulley here. Once you get in front of that, then we gotta see if we can work it back onto the pulley itself. I had trouble getting that off of there when I took it off, and now I painted it, and I bet you just the thickness of the paint is probably one of the reasons why it doesn't want to go back on here. So if we get up here, don't want to do that. Fortunately, this thing's made out of some pretty good metal, so let me get both hands down here to work on this. There we go. I think that got it. So now, let's see if I can get in there with one of these bolts. I went ahead and put the fan belt on, and then I tightened it. I probably shouldn't have done that, because it's probably been easier if that pulley had turned. See if I can get a spot here where there's a spot where the blades are further apart. Once I get one of these bolts started, then the other holes will line up. But right now, I don't know where the holes are. There's one right there. There we go. It started. This thing turned the right way. Didn't have one of these ratcheting end wrenches with me when I took it apart, and it was a long process. Trust me, it was a long process to take each one of these little bolts out. Okay, I'm going to leave that one just a little bit loose, so I can scoot something around a little bit if I need to. So now let's see if we can get in there with, if I can find a hole for another one. There's a hole right there. Let's see if I can get my hand in there. There's just not a whole lot of room between this fan and this radiator. And of course, all those little pins on that radiator are sharp. And I've been pretty fortunate on this project so far that I haven't given any blood on anything, but usually I do, and that of course can change pretty quickly. That thing is way over there. Patience is the key on stuff like this. Okay, I think I got that one started. I know it's hard for you folks to see in the camera. It's hard for me to see too. Everything down here in the shadows like it is. We're getting it. We've got two of them started. Let's see if I can. I'm going to hit something. You know, I think I put that silly thing in there backwards. That should not have hit that. That should not have hit that inlet on that. That actually hitting the inlet where the hose comes out of the radiator. And that shouldn't do that. Alright, that is a problem, folks. I think I'm going to shut you off until I can figure out what the heck to do with that, because there's something definitely haywire about this. I don't know if I put the radiator in the wrong spot or something, but there's definitely something wrong. So let me shut you off for now, and I'll tell you what I find out when I get it back apart again. Well, that kind of turned out to be a non-issue. What actually happened was that fan, I just inadvertently started putting the fan on backwards, and it's positional, so it has to go on the other way. So I just turned it around and put it back on there, and now it's fine. So I'm working on getting those bolts back into there, and it's kind of tedious. And so that was what my problem was. Let me set you back over here. I don't know if you can see very much there or not, but I'll talk to you while I'm doing this. Another thing I got to do is I went ahead and I think I tightened up the fan belt a little bit too quick. I shouldn't have done that quite when I did, because I need to be able to turn that fan in order to get to those other bolts. So I'm going to back that off right quick like everything else on these old vehicles. Everything's pretty simple, so it doesn't take much. Works a lot better if I grab the right socket. Which of course is in the other box naturally. There it is. I didn't bring my big toolbox, of course, because it's huge, and so I grabbed what I thought I'd need and put it in the cardboard box. There's that. Push that out of the way. I should be able to spin that fan all I need to do. Let's see if I get up there and reach down there and get another one. There's one right there, fairly easy to get to. On a scale of difficult to extremely difficult, this one is only difficult. Got one more after this, and I can't seem to find the lock washer that goes with it. There's that last hole right there. I got the hole. Now I gotta go see if I can find a bolt and a lock washer for it. Well, it's later in the afternoon and I've made some progress. I got the thermostat in, I got the upper radiator hose in place. I got that darn fan on, and boy, that thing was a real pain in the butt. And I remembered that I dropped one of those bolts on. It's got 4 bolts holding it on, and I dropped one of them when I was taking it off. I finally found it, but I had to dig around for a while to do that. But I got it back on. Where I'm running into a problem now is this lower radiator hose. Now, when I showed you in that other segment there, I told you that they had this little short piece of rubber here and a short piece of rubber there and a little piece of pipe in between them. And that was the way they did things in those days. And these, by the way, are period correct hose clamps. So let me show you what the issue turned out to be. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to get that together today. But before I walk over there, let me show you. I'll show you another thing here. You see that thing right here? Well, that actually fed water over. There was a hose to that, came across here, and came down to this thing, which was an engine block heater. We're not going to use that anymore, so I'm going to take that offline. And the hose is so brittle, it just broke when I started pulling on it. But it connected from that other connection right here on over to that piece of pipe that was right here. So let's walk over to my truck, and I'll show you what the issue is now. I'm not going to be able to resolve it today, so that's going to mean at least one more day before I get this silly thing back together. But let me show you what the issue is. Okay, here's that old pipe. You see they fastened on a connection here for that outflow from that engine block heater. Well, there's the new one. Look at the difference in them. All right. I'm going to have to trim that. I'm going to have to cut that off so it'll fit in there, because it won't fit as it is. And I don't have the stuff here to do that. So that means I'll take it back home and I'll do it at the house. So I think I'm going to quit for today, but I don't know how much footage I ran, so I'll probably go ahead and not end this one, but bring you back on another segment tomorrow, and I'll go home and see if I can fiddle with this thing some more and see if I can get it to work. We're making progress. It's just slow. You know, it's an 80-plus-year-old truck, got a lot of issues. So I'll be back again tomorrow and give you another progress report. Well, it's the next morning, and it's a new day and a new plan. I'm on my way over to the auto parts store, and that truck isn't in the pure restoration, and that lower radiator hose turned out to be didn't fit, and to try to make it fit, I believe is going to be a pain in the hind end. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the auto parts store and see if I can find an aftermarket hose that'll fit. So we're on our way over there right now, and I'll be back with you when I got something to show you. But right now the plan is to try to get that silly thing at least running today. I'd like to get it totally finished, but even once I get it running and make sure it doesn't leak in anything, then I still got to put the hood and stuff back on it, and that shouldn't take very long, but it will take a little time. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. I'll be back with you. There's just a dead squirrel there I had to dodge. I'll be back with you when I got something to tell you about. Well, I went over to the auto parts store, and we went back in their warehouse, and we started looking at radiator hoses. Let me show you what we came up with. We came up with this one, and what we needed is we needed something that was 1.5 inches on inside diameter, right there, and we needed something that was 15 inches long with a right angle bend. This one, I think this one's going to work. I'm going to have to cut it off right there and probably cut it off right about here, but I think we can make that work, and that's the plan right now. So let me fiddle with it here a little bit, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you how it turned out. This is the right size, and I'm going to need about this much of it. So I'm going to cut it off right there, because I know I'm not going to need this part. Now the key to getting a good cut on one of these things is put a piece of tape around it first. That way you don't get wandering off in your cut. This is an old blade. It's seen a lot of service. I'd probably been better off if I put a new blade on it. Hi, how are you folks? You can come take a look if you want. Yeah, let me turn my camera off here. Well, I took some time to talk to some visitors and had a nice chat with them. They're up for the day from the Phoenix area. And also got to put a new blade in my razor knife. I think that'd probably work a little better than that other one. And then let's see if we can cut this without cutting ourselves. I'm usually pretty good about injuring myself. Got lots of practice. There we go. Once we get it started, just cut around the edge of that piece of tape. You should end up with a pretty square opening here. Go. Not going to need that part. That came out pretty straight. I cut this thing a little bit long because I can always trim more off, but it's sure hard to put anything back. So let me take this, get rid of this piece of tape here. Now we're going to see what we're doing here and see if this is going to fit properly. I know you can't see down in there, and I can't hardly see down in there either. Yeah, we're going to cut it off right about the top of here. So let me put another piece of tape around here. Right about here like this. Measure that and see how close my measurement is. That seems a little short. Yeah, it is a little short. Maybe I better err on the side of caution and cut it a little bit longer. Like I said, I can always cut it again. Kind of hard to get that started. Once you get it started, it goes a little easier. Hey, see, once again, got a pretty clean cut there. So let's see if this is going to fit. See how good of an eye I got. I should have come over here earlier in the morning and done this. That real bright sun makes it real hard to see what you're doing here. Now we're going to have to take some more off. I really think. We're going to take it off right back up to here. That'll make my original measurement a little bit long, but like I say, you can always take some more off, but you can't add any. So let's cross your fingers with me, so let's see if we can do this and see if it's going to work. There we go. Now, with a little bit of luck, we're going to see if this thing will fit. You know, I think we got it. I think we got it. We got a couple of new hose clamps right here for it. Let's see, let's put them, put that one that way and put the bottom one this way. Sometimes you get so much glare on my glasses that it's a lot easier just to take my glasses off. There it is, it's on. By golly. What did I do with my... I'm going to get this top one, I think, with a screwdriver, but the bottom one's going to take a socket, I think. And it's wet down there in the bottom, and I can't really get to it very easy. There's that one. Let me bring you over here and I'll show you what we did here. Okay, we're right down in there. See, there's that hose. I got the top part tightened. I got to go get a wrench to tighten the bottom part. So I'm going to turn you off for a little bit, and then I'll show you what the next project is. Okay, that radiator hose is in there, and it's working good. The next thing we got to do, you're going to see about getting this piece of pipe out of here. And all that is a pipe nipple that's used for a hose nipple. Screws into an elbow down here. So I got a little pipe wrench here. And if this one doesn't work, I got a bigger one. Let's just see if we happen to get lucky enough and see if this thing will come right out. I hope I got you there where you can see what's going on. No, let's turn the whole thing. Yeah, we'll have to see what that does. I don't necessarily want it to turn the whole thing. See if I can hold on to it. I know I'm blocking your shot here. I think it's going. what they always say, if it don't work, get a bigger hammer. Well, in this case, I brought a bigger pipe wrench. You may have to get up here and block your view in order to get an angle on this. Trying to unscrew the whole thing below there, and I've only got not much of a place where I can put my knee here. Yeah, you probably don't need to sit there and listen to me grunt. So let me turn you off for a little bit while I wrestle with this. Well, I run into a little bottleneck and I had to enlist some help from some passerbys. This is Luis and Sarah.
Hi.
And they're, he's holding the wrench for me over there while I'm trying to get that fitting out of there. That fitting turned out to be really, really stubborn. And we're still wrestling with it. I shot it with some PB blaster to try to loosen it up, but it's still arguing with us just like everything else on this truck does. It argues with me every time. So I'll be back with you again just as soon as I got something more to show you. Well, it's a bit later in the day, and with Louise's help, I finally got that thing out of there, and that's what it looked like. I had a heck of a time getting that thing out of there. And of course I didn't have the right plug with me, so I had to make a run to the hardware store, but I got that brass plug back there and got that plugged up. Well, now I got the radiator hose down there, worked out fine. Of course, the upper one's fine. And I got this bypass hose back in place. I actually had some of that in my stash at home. And that should be everything. I should be ready to put antifreeze back in there. And I actually brought my cooling system pressure tester over here with me. But yeah, wouldn't you know, it doesn't fit that radiator cap. So I can't use that. So I guess I'm going to have to just put some coolant in it and see if it holds. But it should. So I'll bring you back here in a minute and I'll let you know what I'm doing there. We got coolant in it, don't see any leaks anywhere. Now we're going to see if it'll start. There's something going on with the throttle linkage now. Something must have come off on the carburetor because the darn thing don't want to start. The pedal goes clear to the floor. So I got to figure that out. somewhere in the process of working on this thing, the little ball on the gas pedal come loose, and the throttle link is stuck on the floor. So I got that hooked back together, so let's see if it'll start. Like how it runs. Now let's just look for leaks. Give me a bottle of stuff I'm supposed to put in it, and I'll go get that out of the truck. I guess I can take my sign down now. It not only starts, it runs. It's got a radiator. I don't see any leaks. And the only thing I got left to do is put the hood and stuff back on it. And I think I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. I can even do that on a rainy day if I have to. Feels warm. It's warming up. So let me close this one out. This will be part 4. The truck's running. I still got to put the body work and hood and stuff back on it. And I'll probably do a part 5 on that. Because it's kind of interesting the way these old trucks are made. But I think it's almost 5 o'clock on a Friday. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one right here. And I'll tell you, as I always do, take care of each other, love each other, take care of yourself. Show gratitude for what you got. I'm glad I finally got the old truck running. It's been fighting me the whole time. And but I met some very nice people today. I had some very nice folks come by to visit. And so until I see you again on the next episode, let me see if I can turn this around and give you one look at the setting sun across the lake and tell you peace out.